What's up, everybody? Welcome to DCGG Podcast. This is the first podcast of 2022. So we made it, y'all. We made it out of 2020, first off. Made it out of 2021. Now we're in 2022. It's kind of iffy. 2022 kind of, we had some bumps in the road so far, but I mean, we're still here. We're still rocking. DCGG is still rocking as well. Again, my name is notserk, short for Creston. And we also have Ren, who is Camelback of Liquor. And we also have Justin, the real pipe gamer.
Hello, everyone.
2022. Let's just kick it off with like, what have y'all been playing? I know we ended off 2021. Uh, First off, first question, 2021 in gaming world, how was 2021? Like, was there any like very big like notable releases that will just kind of stick with you the rest of your life, or was it just kind of like it was cool, it was cool? What do y'all think?
I mean, I'm sure everyone is sick of me saying, but last year I got all three of my favorite games put onto one disc or one download for me, and I have it forever. And I have Mass Effect. Like just again, I like no longer is there Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3. For finally, for the first time ever, there's just Mass Effect, and it is one epic that just so happens to be broken up into parts 1, 2. Like you can calm down. Like it's on. Like if you can, you gotta get on one disc. And like I feel like that is the as someone all of us, we grew up in the era where like you would go out and buy a game, and if it was big and epic, you were getting like 2 or 3 discs. Like hell, even Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 2 is on 2 discs. I want to say that's the only one that's on multiple discs. Um, like so like we grew up in that era. Now like one disc. You can just pop it in and you have it all right there in front of you. So that is like without a doubt that was the biggest release of last year to me. A game from a decade ago.
Hey, if it's still fun, it's still fun. I don't. I'm past the whole like, oh, this game is old. I'm not gonna play it. It's like if the game is fun, just fucking play it. We gotta, as an industry, as gamers, we gotta get past that. If it's more than 3 months old and it's an old game, then we're, yeah. I think we're, yeah. Don't get me started on that. Anyway, Ren, what 2021? What stood out to you gaming wise?
I'm Googling in the background and trying to find out if this happened or not, but I don't think it did. Hollow Knight Silk Song, I don't think has an official release date from Team Cherry. And that was something I think we were all looking for in 2021. If I'm incorrect about this, I'm sure someone on the internet will tell me. But on a first page Google search, I think it's speculated to possibly be released in February 2022. But I'm only seeing one source that's saying that. So I think it might just be, gamers gossiping. But yeah, I think we're all kind of waiting for the sequel to that incredible game. And we would love to have it.
It
Awesome.
was on.
Yeah.
I thought that Silk Song was like a really big DLC. I did not know it was a whole new sequel to it.
Yeah.
Yes, it is a entire sequel following a Hornet, we believe. I
Okay.
don't watch trailers for stuff either, so
Oh,
Hey,
you're on
that's
media
probably the best
blackout.
way to do it.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. I
Okay.
am I am absolutely for like books, movies, games. I don't think the writers sit down and think about whether or not you saw a trailer before you went to go like experience that media. So I want to experience the way that it was like designed by the writers and the creators to be experienced.
Yes.
Respect, respect. But you gotta, the marketing people. You gotta make their job worth it. You know what I mean?
You know who had a great trailer recently? A trailer I did not want to see, but I went to go see Sing 2. Spider-Man, Spider-Verse, the second movie, has a great trailer. It doesn't tell you
Nothing.
anything,
Nothing.
but it's still like, oh yeah, I remember these people. I want to go hang out with them again. Like it
Yes.
did exactly what you wanted it to do.
Yeah. It's like I don't know. It's like 45 seconds of the movie, and then it's like a minute of Miles just flying through land like magical interdimensional landscapes, and It's just like, what is going? I don't know. I don't care. Like Spider Gwen was there, Miles was there. They're going to go different places. The end. Shut up. Take my money. Like,
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
I'm
Good.
sold. I'm there.
Chris, can I make a guess for yours?
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Guilty Gear Strive.
That is definitely up there for
Okay.
sure. But you know, I'm going to my tried and true. Tried and true.
Halo.
Duh. I'm such an idiot. So, you know, because it was like released in like drips and drabs.
Yeah.
By the way, it's Halo Infinite. People who don't know. It was, you know, there was like the flights, and then there was the
Yeah.
multiplayer, and then like they just like shadow dropped. No, they shadow dropped the multiplayer, and
Yeah.
then like made a big deal about the campaign. Correct?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. So it was just like, yes, you know what? That is clearly the right answer. The only thing there is if you were not in it, like you were in it, I feel like the release from the outside looking from the outside looking in, the release looked like a mess. But I'm sure
Yeah.
for the people who were like loving it, you guys were just like, oh my god, every single like month there's just like another piece, like another morsel that I just get to drain. I mean, I doubt you drained it. I doubt you're still playing it clearly.
So I'm gonna just start off with this. It almost ruined my wedding week.
Oh,
Because
go on.
like seriously, it was like, okay, I had like that previous week was just like wide open. I was just like, you know, this is prime time for some shadow dropping. You know, I'm all game. I got, you know, we're in the last like stretch of like wedding planning and all this. And then that Monday, you know, because that was the 20th anniversary of Xbox, so they did a whole thing. Like there was a lot of like festivities, and then they capped it off with shadow dropping Halo Infinite, and that literally just kind of threw my whole week off. Like I had everything planned out. It's like, okay, Thursday is a big day, and then they just had to shadow drop it that week. Like it was just like the wrong timing. But when I look back, it was perfect timing because, you know, it's like a like best week scenario. It's like your favorite video game is dropping, and then you're getting married. You know, so it's like, you know, but in that moment, it was a lot. It was too much to kind of take in. And like I said, I definitely skirted on some responsibilities leading up to it, but I made up for it, you know, getting closer. But yeah, I mean, like I said, that's definitely the highlight of, you know, my gaming 2021 is finally getting Halo Infinite. I've been waiting for that game for 7 years, basically, ever since Halo 5 was released in 2015. So it was way overdue. There was so much hype, so much pressure, so much disappointment. There was a lot of controversy. Finally dropped. You played it, felt great. Everything was there. Halo is back. So it was a perfect way to end off 2021. So, but Guilty Gear Strive definitely up there. That's between those two are definitely like my top played games of last year. So it's a good year. It's a good year. I can't complain. And 2022 so far is looking pretty good. So jumping ahead a bit, what are you all playing right now? So Ren, what's been keeping you busy in terms of gaming?
I do the suggestions of people here on DCGG. I have the Ace Attorney Chronicles. I was just talking with somebody about this. I feel like I don't have the context of how this chapter was released, but I think I officially finished the first game, and then there's like a bonus chapter, but there's definitely a change in art style. So I'm not sure like how or when that particular chapter was released, but I'm still technically, I think, in the first game. And it's been a lot of fun. Definitely really like Ace Attorney. The other one that I've been playing with some of my D&D mates is Terraria, which I had never played before, and it is such a damn good time. it has all the appeal of like Stardew Valley in Minecraft, where no two people are going to be building the same character, and you don't have to have any sort of teamwork, but you can all just be in the same server doing your thing. Or you can, team up and, do some bigger tasks. And so that sort of like flexibility, customization, and freedom is just awesome. And also really easy to get into a game together. I'm looking at you, Don't Starve. Why is it so difficult?
Awesome. Yeah.
Brandon, I always like to hear about what. I'm sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
I always like to hear about what you're playing because, like, I feel like you are never. All three of us, we have very different taste in games. Like, I am never going to be playing this game that you are playing at the same time. Never. It's just not going to happen. That being said, I love hearing about. I always said that my geek is a geek, meaning that like I really love it when someone is like passionate about something that I have, like a specific thing that I have no idea about, and I just like to sit back and be like, tell me all about it, please, like geek all over me, do it, and I'm surprised that you actually said a game that I've even heard about, because sometimes you come out with like weird point and click adventure games or like tiny little free indie games that you have to like go to a weird obscure website to find.
Come on, dude. Like,
but I'm glad to have actually have heard the game that you're talking about.
And I think that's I absolutely everything you said I echo. I am never gonna play Halo again. Like it's just not my games. But I think that kind of what the environment that we build here at DCGG is, we sort of address. I think I'm gonna have a hot take here. You don't necessarily have to have like the same interests to be friends.
Exactly.
Like,
look at that.
Mutual respect and sort of like, we're all in this general sort of nerd culture, is enough for us to be able to talk about similar things and like, respect other people's like perspective, and then just enjoy someone talking about something that you're not personally maybe interested in, but is really cool to hear how they think about it. So yeah, we all, even in this call, play very different games, and that's okay.
Yeah,
absolutely. But we all do converge on some Windjammers.
Windjammers is fantastic.
Which we're gonna play later in the episode. But yeah, Justin, I know that we briefly had a conversation about your 2020 so far, and you said you've been very wrapped up in tabletop recently. Like you had a major haul in your tabletop collection, and you have been neglecting video games. So please explain yourself.
there is something magical about a board that I can't quite put my finger on yet, even though I have put way too much money into them. I say that I put as much money as I want to. I actually wrote today in the tabletop like part of the Discord saying, like I'm done buying games. I have too many games. Like not that I have too many games, but I have games that I have not played yet. So like maybe I need to slow down. Like it's one thing having like a digital like having a digital backlog, because like it sits there and you look at it, sure, but like it's really just taking up space on your console, and even then doesn't necessarily have to, because you can delete it and then it's on the cloud, and then as long as you own the license, you can always just download it again, no big deal. But like a physical board game backlog is like you're not only taking up space in my house, but I don't even know what you are. Like get yourself together. So I put a quick pause on that with the one caveat of if I run out of legacy or campaign games, and the people that I want to play games with would like to get into a legacy or campaign game, I will get another. That is the caveat. Other than that, I'm not buying any more games. I literally got a shipment of 4 expansions for one game today. And before I got on this call, I was very excitedly opening them all up and figuring out how I want to integrate the expansions into the game, and I can't wait to play the game so I can get to the expansions. So that's a whole thing. That game, by the way, is Clank. For those who don't know, it's a like a dungeon crawl deck builder game. It's really fun. It's a lot of fun. In fact, sneak peek ahead. We're going to talk about Fat Pete's. It's probably one of the games going to bring Fat Pete's. It's very accessible. It's very simple, and I think that it's I think it's going to be a fun. I think it would be a fun first time deck building game for people who don't know how that works. But that's beside the point. For video games, though, I have recently gotten into Ni no Kuni, the first one, because it was like $7 on the Nintendo eShop. And I've always wanted to play because I really love Studio Ghibli. I love was it Level 7? Whatever I'm trying to remember the publisher. But I enjoy them. That collab. Oh no, maybe it's Square Enix. Maybe I'm thinking of a different. But like that collab, I wanted to get into. And I'm in it. I'm only a couple hours in. That's one of those like 100-hour plus JRPGs. It started off and I'm like, this is so childlike. I don't think I'm going to enjoy it. And as time went on, I'm like, every single character has like one move. Like the annoying little kid, like he won me over. There's a weird story thing that happens in the beginning that I don't quite understand, and then like they don't seem to address it, and they do address it, and I'm like, oh, okay, so like this was the case the whole time, but y'all didn't say anything. Anyway, it's a cool little world. It's a cool little game that has two worlds. Like you bounce back between like the human world and like this like fairy world. And I don't know. It's like we talked about earlier. Like old game is old. Get over it. Like nah. I wanted to play a game. It's been on my backlog forever. It was $7. I had to go get it. Now I'm playing it. I'm having a lot of fun, and I got on the Switch. So it's not that impressive visually of the game. Like some of the landscapes are wonderful, but like they're painted. Like they're not like interactable. But like it's beautiful in its own right, and that nice little screen, and I can watch something because there's it's a JRPG, so there's grinding involved, and if I'm like, what, I'm just gonna make my character a little bit stronger. I can just throw on, I don't know, The Simpsons, something I don't need to like actually pay attention, and just grind, get money, get XP, level up. JRPG people. I don't know. I wonder if there's like a crossover between like JRPG people and board gamers. I feel like our brains are just like a crew. Watch numbers get bigger. Like I feel like there's got to. I feel like there's some kind of crossover there, which is a whole another problem.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm sure that there's huge crossover in that space for sure.
Yeah, especially because there's like a lot of games have like miniatures in them. You're supposed to use them to play the game, but I'm sure a lot of people were just like, I like this miniature. I'm gonna put this off to the side. Actually, you know what? I'm derailing. I'm digressing. But give me like a quick second. So like, I don't know. You guys know Marvel Zombies? It's a comic book series. It's going to also get a animated series on Disney Plus. It also got an episode of What If. But anyway, so it's a world in which a zombie virus exists like in one of the many like multiverse, like the multiverse of Marvel. In the Ultimate Comics, Reed Richards like opened up a portal to that world, and one of the people got through, and that's beside the point. The point is that it spawned this like 4 series of comics, and it's just it's The Walking Dead if it was in the Marvel universe as opposed to just like the normal human universe. They have recently launched a Kickstarter for a Marvel Zombies board game, which is a remix of another board game called Zombicide, which is really popular. I say all this to say all the miniatures the miniatures in this game are beautiful, especially for the fact that they are like all Marvel characters, and they've done a fantastic job with these miniatures. But there's another miniature that's 2 feet tall, and it is Galactus, and it's
2 feet.
I'm not getting it. I'm not getting
So
it
that's
because
like,
it's like, yeah, like 2 feet. Yes, 2 feet tall, Galactus and his like world eater machine behind him.
It's not a miniature.
It's not a miniature anymore, right?
That's an action
that's a
figure.
mega chair.
My biggest miniature is this big.
Right? Like
Yeah. And it's
the
Evil Santa.
Evil
That's something
Santa.
else. Yeah.
I want to see this.
I can get it.
Like Krampus or just like an evil Santa?
I think he's just like a big gnome or something. I'll get him. I'll get him.
But anyway, besides the point, like, I don't know. That's just like it's a game. Like it's meant for the game, but you could very easily just like get it and just set it up and just be like, look at my cool thing. I have a cool thing now.
So it's like a Viking, but I think I had him playing the part of cast as Evil Santa.
Is that for something else or is that?
It was for. No, this is for D&D. It's for
okay.
Home I ran for one Christmas.
Yeah, things like that would do. Yeah, that's great for you.
But yeah, no, definitely people. There are certain games I know that people will buy them for the minis. Like
yes.
even sometimes the games like aren't particularly balanced or aren't particularly fun, but people will get them for the minis or the modular dungeon pots.
Yes. Yes, very much so. Sorry for that digression. You shouldn't let me talk. Creston, what have you been playing?
Oh man. So this year I think that so looking at my Switch what is it, the like kind of the year end like game whatever, my most played game on the Switch was Smash Brothers. So I mean, as I'm definitely more I'm proud to be playing Smash a lot more, but in the same vein, I need to do better on the Switch. So I picked up actually a good amount of games on the eShop during their winter break eShop sale. So those 3 games that I got were Resident Evil Revelations, the first one. I also got No More Heroes, and the last one is the Ninja Gaiden collection. So right now I'm playing those 3, and then for the Ninja Gaiden collection I'm playing Ninja Gaiden Sigma. So it's basically the first one, but it's like remixed. There's like, actually no, Sigma is the one that I think came out for the Vita, or is it Ninja Gaiden Black, and then there's so many weird variations, but like there's like a whole controversy around this collection because everybody sees that the first like original versions of Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2 are in their eyes the superior version because it's like the you have more enemies, there's more blood, and blah 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 blah. It's just like nitpicking, but within that community. But I'm a newbie in that community, so I'm playing what is the most accessible, which is you basically have all the games on one, especially it being on Switch. So I'm not complaining. I played Ninja Gaiden 2 last year actually. So I'm fresh off of that, and I wanted to really kind of dig into that franchise. So I'm starting from the first one, skipping over Sigma 2 because Sigma 2 is basically Ninja Gaiden 2, but has slight modifications, and then going right into Ninja Gaiden Sigma 3. So that's what I'm playing on the Switch, and then on PlayStation, in my mind I think I'm going to finish Horizon before the second one comes out, but the way things are going now, I don't know. It's so hard for me to sit down and play like an open world game. Like my attention gets divided so much. So I don't know how that's gonna go. But I am trying to play through that, and then on Xbox is Halo. Right now, Serious Sam 4 with JK. And then what else? There's a couple games that just came out on Game Pass that I'm gonna play more. Nobody Saves the World. I want to play that
It's on my
because
list.
that's the
Fox.
Guacamelee. Yeah,
Yep.
yep. So anything that they do, I'm immediately trying. I played about an hour of it earlier this week, and I enjoyed what I played so far. So I'm gonna dig more into that. But yeah, I'm trying to have at least one. Oh, and then on PC, there's this other like Metroidvania called Fist. It's called Forge and Shadow Torch or something.
Yeah, Fortune Shadow Torch.
Yeah. And that's basically a Metroidvania beat 'em up, which is really fun. Having a good time. It's not running that well on my PC, so I wonder if it's gonna. I gotta maybe do some tweaks, but I'm enjoying what I'm playing so far. But it's 2022 is starting off pretty good in terms of gaming. And the way that the release schedule is looking this year, there's gonna be plenty of play. So, really looking forward to that.
Actually,
Um,
reminded me real quick on the talking about things recently dropped on Game Pass. I don't know about how recently it is, but Wastelanders 3 or Wasteland 3, no, just Wastelanders or Wasteland, which is basically just like old school Fallout, like before Bethesda took it and made it like like the first person, also third person, like immersive thing. Like it used to be like a top down, like
yeah, like,
almost tactics type thing.
mm-hmm.
The people who originally made Fallout like left and started their own thing, and they're just Wasteland. I think it's 1, 2, and 3. The third one came out. It's on Game Pass, and I've been playing it with Samson, one of my turns, one of our members, and that's been a lot of fun. It's uh, if you're hearing this and you like CRPGs, so you like Divinity or
Does C stand for Canadian?
say again.
The
Think
C
about that
stand.
C too.
Does C stand for Canadian or what does C stand for?
Computer.
Oh,
Computer RPG. I don't know
computer.
why they call them that. I think it was just like I think it's an old, outdated term.
And it just
No,
like just hung around. It's an artifact.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I honestly I saying it out loud. I realized like yeah, I just say the word. I know what it means, but I don't really like. I know what it triggers in my brain. Just like I mean, like even JRPGs is out of date. Like because like it used to be it used to be like Japanese and Western. Because like in Westerns were like more like action based, but there are plenty of action Japanese RPGs.
Yeah,
Like
I
that
mean,
doesn't make any sense
Scarlet
anymore.
Nexus is a perfect example of that.
Hell, that was Bible Games of the
Yeah.
Year.
Yeah,
That was super popular. Hell, you
Skipping
were
absolutely.
back
enjoying that.
to yeah. Skipping back to when we would do 20 questions, which we should totally bring back.
We should.
I don't think I know what an RPG is anymore. Like I do not know. I was watching that what was that like weird Netflix history on video games. Like they give one definition. Yeah, what was
Oh, fuck.
it was very good, everybody.
Yeah, it was
But
fun.
they gave one definition. That was like it was. I tried to use some of the stuff they talked about in trivia, but when I went to go verify, it was like, but they gave this one definition for JRPG of LPGs that like, okay, this makes sense. But then comparing it against all the other games that identified as like RPGs of some kind, it's like, what's an RPG? I have no idea. I have no idea what RPG is anymore. What does that mean?
So
It doesn't mean anything.
the name of it was High Score.
High score.
Yeah.
More of
I-
like level up. Like, that's not.
Yeah, I did. The one thing I really
Yeah.
did love about the documentary is the intro. It's made by Power Glove. Power Glove is like when it comes to I think they call it like retro wave. That 80s sounding
Yeah.
tone. Power Glove is they have some hits when it comes to like if you love retro wave stuff. Power Glove is the shit. So they did the intro, the score for the high score. They did the score for that high score.
They scored the high score.
Exactly. So yeah, if you love like video game music and then also 80s sounding music, definitely check out Power Glove. They were actually at Magfest, I want to say 2016 or so. So I kind of I kicked myself because I missed out on that, but yeah, that's the one really good thing about that documentary. And then like the production value was actually really good too. But there's people that do video game documentaries for a living, and they kind of skirted on some details, but
oh yeah, without a doubt,
yeah.
That was very much like baby's first video game documentary.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That being said, I had, as much as I looked into, like much as I've seen and like even like read in console wars and things like that, I did not know about the black dude that pretty much like
who invented the cartridges.
Lawson,
Yeah.
Jerry Lawson, yeah.
Well, I didn't know about that. Maybe that's my ignorance of not like seeking that out. But that was the first time I saw that, and I was like, "What the heck is this? Like, how do we not discuss this more?"
I know, right? You think about like how many more like black kids would have been in tech. It's just knowing that, you know what I mean?
Right.
So,
I mean, having heroes is important.
Exactly. So
anyway.
So yeah, 2022. What is going on with DCGG in 2022? So far, we had a presence at Magfest. We did a challenger approaches at Magfest 2022. Ren, you want to talk about that and just kind of talk about like how things went? What was the premise of it and all of that stuff?
Yeah, so will say I'm the worst person to talk about this. Our showrunners for this event were Richard and Wallace, who are also organizers of DCGG. You've probably seen them on here several times. And the idea behind it is let's play some fighting games that are either less well known or just a little bit older. Like maybe they're sort of past, not their expiration date, but past their prime. And Richard did an absolutely phenomenal job. Well, first of all, Richard and Wallace did a phenomenal job of selecting these games. Like you could see as they were bringing up games to talk about, you could see the reaction from the audience where like there's, older members of Magfest who are like, oh yeah. And then like younger people who were like, what is this? So that was fantastic. And then Richard did just a great job of adding context and history to these games that were being played. So it was a really good time. And then probably the most fun part was pulling random people up. And this is at Magfest at like 10:30, and people are drunk to play these fighting games that they have never played before. We did do 2 out of 3 to make it somewhat more fair. But it was just, a cacophony of arrows in the best possible way. The audience got really into it. At one point, we had a Peter Griffin versus Homer Simpson showdown. And it was a really good time. It was like definitely we are going to redo this panel in the future.
Who won that fight?
Who did win that fight? I think it might have been Peter Griffin. And this was on Mugen, by the way, where you can like have everyone and anyone fight each other, apparently.
Absolutely.
I am not a fighting games girl. I don't know what I'm talking about. Someone else can speak on these games.
I mean, you basically said what Mugen is. Mugen's been around for very long, and it is just this crazy. I don't know if I'm using this word correctly, but like open source, like video game fighting platform.
Basically,
like you can make a character, you upload it, people can download it, people can download the character, and like there's everything you can think of. Like someone has gone out of their way to make the character. Some are better than others. Some are just like skins over, like another character. Like you can basically just go find like, I don't know, like Peter Griffin or something, but he has the exact same moveset as like Ryu. Like it's but then some of them are like, no, I'm gonna take the moves that like because Peter's done a lot of fighting over the years. He's a Family Guy, so I'm gonna take moves that he's done from Family Guy and inject them into like his moveset. So some of them are like really done with like love and care, and then some of them are just like janky nonsense, and then some of them are just like, oh, this person touches you once, they're doing. Those are done as well. But yeah, no, I've never played Mugen myself, but I have watched a great deal of it, and It's just funny to look at. Man, COVID. I wish I I wish I was there for that.
Definitely. Yeah, and so our original plan for Magfest was to we were gonna do 3 panels in total. 2 of the panels we had to cancel because a great number of us ran into Omicron this season. So we definitely wanted to, we just had to put that on the back burner, and hopefully the start of the con season, we'll probably do those panels again at some of these cons coming up. So I think the next big con is, I think AwesomeCon is happening in June or so.
We did get emails about this, and it's either BloodCon or AwesomeCon is our next one.
Yeah. So
BloodCon comes first, right?
Did last year. I don't know if it does this year.
Yeah, because usually AwesomeCon, like before COVID, AwesomeCon usually happened in either like April or June-ish, and then like after COVID, they pushed it back to later in the summer. So I wonder if they're gonna go back to their old schedule of either April or May this year. So. But yeah, stay on the lookout for that. Of course, as soon as we get more details, we'll let everybody know. Keep everybody up to date on our movement with that. And then also one of the other big events that we did for DC Gaming Group is we did our monthly trivia, but we also had, in addition to trivia, we had a Game of the Year competition. So this is the Game of the Year of 2021. Ren, how was that? How did that go?
It was excellent. So the process was at DCGG, members will know that people are able to self-select different programs. So kind of like we were talking about earlier, if you are into fighting games like notserk, you join that program. If you're into like social polo games, you would join party mode. So first thing I did was I went around to all of those and be like, y'all send me your games. Also doing trivia, so people who are in attendance, they submitted a Google form with 3 nominations. The hardest part of this was selecting which of those nominations was going to end up in the bracket. But what we ended up with was I think a pretty representative sample of the most played games in DCGG. And from that 16 seeded bracket, we had people speak on each of the games. And as the games progressed and the bracket got smaller and smaller, we saw some guys drop off. Halo Infinite actually didn't make it out of the top 16. We also had some, fan favorites. Ace Attorney was left on top 16. I don't know how I feel about this. Hades made it on though to the top 8.
Which
it was hard to pin.
A lot of people had a problem with that because technically it was 2020, but
it was, yeah.
But I mean,
I think I also had y'all vote on whether or not it would should be allowed on the bracket. So I don't know if it was trolls or just honest belief that it should stay.
I mean that game, that's another one of those games that had like a staggered like release, and so it's really kind of hard to really say when the game came out. But it did, for a lot of people, it was made available this year via Game Pass, so you can kind of make a case that but a lot of people, some of the members were really getting kind of worked up about that. So but how do we solve it? We vote, and we did, and it stayed, and it lasted.
Here at DCGG, your vote does matter. We listen to the voices of the people. One that had a lot of passion behind it which didn't make it out of the top 8 was Super Mario 3D World, specifically Bowser's Fury. Um, a lot of people had a lot of like passion and interest in this game. And that was when I wasn't expecting to see have that much support behind it, given what I see in like other game media. Um, so that's kind of the thing like I really liked about doing this event was we really got to see how like your neighbors and peers are responding to games, not how people who are, sponsored by NordVPN or, paid to publish are responding to games, right? Um, our top 4 though, I think are games that not only were popular within the community, but also had like the best orators to really speak on them. Um, this is my theory, but tying for 3rd place, we have Little Nightmares 2, which is fantastic. I'm in the middle of it right now. I need to finish it. And also another little horror dandy, Resident Evil 8, which I know has a lot of fans within the community, which I did not know until I made the banner that's technically called Village.
I refuse to call it Village. I call it 8. I mean, it's just, I don't
I've
know.
never heard
It's
anyone call it that.
RE8, just no Village. Village is only one part of the game. So it's not,
It's just the first part, right? Like
yeah,
the very
basically.
beginning, and then you like
You
wander off.
venture off, yeah. So yeah, no. Resident Evil 8. RE8.
I did it did delight my soul though to see like 2 horror games up there. This tends to be a very divisive genre, just generally.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 2nd place, I'm going to say the name of this, and then one of y'all need to immediately correct me because I'm going to do it wrong. Is Shin Megami Tensei 5?
You were so close. Tensei.
Yeah.
Tensei. Which just had like a lot of passion from its supporters to really drive it into that 2nd spot. But who clinched that 1st spot is actually Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. This game seemed very popular in the community, had a lot of people speaking on it. And yeah, that is our DCGG Game of the Year. But really, if you found new games that you wanted to play out of this event, then we are all winners of DCGG Game of the Year.
Yeah, it was very it was I'm still shocked at the amount of people that didn't really know any of these games that were being talked about. Which I guess, I guess I don't know. I guess as gamers, the way that we absorb information comes from a variety of ways. Usually is, first line of defense is your friends, word of mouth, right? And then second line of defense is, whoever you follow on various, platforms, whether it be like traditional gaming media, YouTubers, Twitch streamers, whatever. So I think that there's definitely opportunity for DCGG. I personally, I love posting about like smaller indie games that you probably, never heard of. Like, this whole week, Windjammers 2 is just like, all right, we need to play this. We need to play this. So expect like a lot more trailers being dropped and just around the Discord, and expect to just hear about, a lot of these smaller games that you probably would never have heard of. So that's the biggest, that's one of my passions is like, just exposing and curating games for people to be like, I would have never picked this up if I never heard about it, if you all didn't like let us know about it. So yeah, so expect to see that in 2022. You're gonna see a lot more trailers, of very like not necessarily obscure, but very like off the beaten path, mainstream indie games and stuff. So yeah.
And to like sort of, tag on to that, when we have our Switch It Up events, which, we're going to talk about one here coming up, if you bring us an indie game, we will make space for it because we love seeing indie and smaller games being played. And it's also great because it means everyone sort of at the event is sort of coming to the game new, so it's a great level setter.
Absolutely.
So absolutely bring us your indie games, and we will find a space for it.
What was that game when we did our first event? What was
Crawl.
that?
I was just thinking about it.
Was it called
Crawl, like
Crawl?
baby crawls. Yeah.
Got you. Got
That
you.
was fantastic. We should
Very
also
fun.
just add that to the registry. Or
Absolutely.
like organizer collection.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, and like Ren said, it's very very organic in how, if there's a game that you think would be cool, couch multiplayer, um, uh, definitely bring it out. For Switch or, yeah, mainly Switch. That's the easiest to log around. But yeah, so that's a perfect segue into what's coming up in a couple weeks. Is we're gonna have our first in-person event for 2022. It is going to be held at Fat Pete's over in Cleveland Park. At I think everything starts at 7. Am I correct?
Yeah.
7 to about 10. Um, we're definitely planning to have a bunch of game setups. Mainly Switch because, like we were saying, it's very easy to take back and forth. But yeah, Ren, tell me a little bit more about this upcoming event. What should we look forward to? Yeah, what's the vibe? What's going to be the vibe?
So Fat Pete's is a barbecue place in Cleveland Park. They are also a bar, so it's perfect for this happy hour midweek sort of like relaxing game sort of environment that we are trying to create. The owners of Fat Pete's have been longtime friends of the DC nerd community, and they are really excited to share not only their personal collection of games and knowledge, but also bring us in and have us bring new games and, just nerds everywhere. That's the goal. Um, and we're going to cater to two primary sort of gaming mediums for the Fat Pizza event. The first is board games. There's a lot of tables, so definitely bring your board games. We would like to have sort of a variety of type of games. Games that are super easy to jump into. Think Cards Against Humanity, Exploding Kittens, those fast-paced little games like that. Look, I love me some good Jenga too. It's a good time. So if you could have some of those, definitely bring them. And then we're also looking for, the people who love board games, the games that y'all would bring, games Justin would bring. Um, my one request is I'm going to give you all homework. I'm going to give you homework, Justin, and anyone else who's looking to bring a game. Learn how to play it before you arrive. There's going to be a lot of people meeting new friends, experiencing your game for the first time potentially if it's not, like a heavy hitter like Cards Against Humanity. And I don't want y'all to be like this trying to read the rules when you're trying to play a game. This is not fun. So if you have a couple games that you want to bring, read the rules before. Maybe I like to do dry run-throughs with like my imaginary friends before people come over. Definitely do that. So that way we can get you in, we can get you set up, and that way it's much more likely people would want to like participate in that game if you know how to like sort of bring people into it, right? On a similar note, we're also going to have several Switch stations. So this is a Switch It Up event. So bring your Switch, bring your couch co-op games, and there are several monitors that we can potentially hook you up to. There is a limited number of monitors, so there's no guarantee that if you have something particular you want to play that we can get it up, but we will definitely try, and we will definitely be able to get you onto a game. The last thing that everyone needs to bring, and this is a must, you don't have to bring a Switch if you don't have one or want to bring it. You don't have to bring a board game if you don't have to or want to, but you do have to bring your vaccination cards and your ID. This is not our rule. This is DC's rule, but even if it wasn't DC's rule, this is our rule as well. Switches and board games are inherently items we're going to be touching a lot of the same stuff. So we are going to have hand sanitizer. We are going to try and, keep everyone stays safe, but please do your part and bring your vaccination card so we can make sure that, everyone is up to snuff. I think I covered most of it.
Cool. And
I will say.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I know that you hear like oh, switches are going to be there, and a lot of switch things are going to happen. Yes, I'm sure we will take a TV, maybe two at the very most, and you guys can play your hardcore 1v1. No items, only on Final Destination Smash. We can make that happen for you. But understand this: if there's going to be like for every 3, like super fun smashes, there will be one serious smash. Like we can't, like this is supposed to be fun and silly and goofy, and like we're supposed to have a lot of like people are supposed to like meet and mingle. Like we can get you guys here and and whoever set up on a Switch, and y'all can do your super duper hardcore smash. Let everyone else have their fun. Don't bring your little pouty. Like why are you guys using Pokemon? Pokemon are lame. Yeah, I don't need to. I want to hear that anywhere but the corner that we decide to put y'all in. That's all.
Amen.
Yes. And so we do have the community tenants, right? Which I think there's a lot of new DCGG members coming out for this event. So if you're new or existing, we do have the community tenants. And the essential vibe of those is no matter how you play the game, that's valid. No matter how someone else plays the game, that's valid. We are not a competitive gaming organization. You're probably never going to see like a proper, honest tournament from us, the way other esports will. If someone is having fun and if they are still learning or an expert, it doesn't matter. Yes, everything Justin just said.
For sure.
You said about the tournaments. I do want to do a Mario Party tournament at one time.
Mario Party is fine because there's so much inherent randomness, right?
Exactly.
Like, yeah, but like high skill games, like that gets to like that's for other people to do, right?
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Definitely. Yeah. So that event is going to be February 2nd. You can go RSVP at you can go to DCGG .gg, DCGamingGroup.com. The event is going to be on the homepage. You can go ahead and click on that and RSVP. We definitely hope to see you all there. It's going to be a really good time. It's going to be the first time we've done like a DCGG proper event since we did our first one back in 2020.
Because we've always been partnering with people, haven't we?
Exactly. Yep. So we've always had to either be at a convention or we partner with the Killer Queen group, who is housed out of what's the name of that bar? City State.
City State, which is fantastic.
Absolutely. Killer Queen group is really cool, and they are a very dedicated group. They've allowed us to come in and have fun with them, and some of our members are also big Killer Queen players. There's a little bit of tension between Killer Queen Black and Killer Queen proper, but we won't start that war here. I personally like Killer Queen Black because I could just play it anywhere. But that's and then there's other features and stuff, but like I said, I won't start that here.
Brian was sitting on the arcade and he was like, "How do I throw a berry?" And I laughed at him.
So so we have in addition to that, we have a bunch of other stuff that we'll be announcing soon. We're also getting back on the cadence of doing more online events via Discord. So definitely be on the lookout for that. But we have a bunch of cool stuff coming down the pipeline for 2022. We're very excited. Like I said, we're very excited to, meet you all at the Fat Pete's event. And then, like Ren was saying, our goal is to have an in-person event at least once a month. So that was the whole idea for this group, was to switch it up with the normal DC social life, right? It's always, we're going to this bar, we're going to stand around, look at each other, have a hand. How am I going to stand? I got a hand in my pocket with a beer. Oh, what do you do? Oh, what do you do? Oh, what do you do? I work for this. Oh, yeah. That typical like DC networking nonsense. We wanted to. DC Gaming Group exists because we wanted to change that up, and we wanted to, appeal to folks like us and appeal to people that are adults and but still love video games. So, that's exactly why we exist, and we're, like I said, we're very excited to meet everybody in the next couple weeks. All right. So that's pretty much it for this episode. Does anybody else have anything to say? Want to close it out?
I'm good.
Cool. So that is going to be it for this episode. This is the first episode of 2022. We'll be back next week and talking more of Fat Pete's, and then also some more online events coming up, and some general video game news. One of the biggest things that happened this week, a big publisher just got bought by Microsoft, and that publisher is Activision. So what the hell does that mean? So we're gonna dig into that a little bit next week, because we want to have some time to digest this. That's a lot of information to digest at once, and so we're gonna talk about what is that going to mean, and then also what is that going to mean for DCGG. So stay tuned for that. Again, my name is notserk, and we have Ren, the Camelback of Liquor, and then Justin, the Real Pipe Gamer.